Driving Culture 4. This is Hypebeast Radio. We're here live at the launch of Hypebeast France in Paris, France, with Arthur Carr. Arthur, how's it going?
Good, good. You?
Doing great. Yeah,
Nice here.
it's nice here. Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, like normally how we kick off our podcast is that we try to get like, the background story of our guests. So with you, being a car enthusiast, how did you first get into cars?
It became a family passion, let's say, because in Beirut, my father had a garage. He was fixing American cars in Beirut and some sports cars, and I was always hanging there. And my mom said the first sentence you say, it's auto means automobile. Or so I grew up with an automobile around me, and that's the only thing I had on me. Every day I was just trying to have the most beautiful poster or the most beautiful. Was hard to have picture like today, because obviously you didn't have a phone in your hand taking all the pictures you want, but
Yeah.
soon you see your father had a real picture, you try to hide it for yourself with one of the most beautiful car. But that's how I grew up. I see my father fixing cars all his life. I was spending time on his garage, and naturally my hands automatically do the same things. So when I was in the school, the only thing I was curious about is having fun with my friends, try to get the best sneaker, and try to be in a car.
Yeah.
So actually my teacher said to my mom, look, your son is a nice person, I believe, but he has to go and work. She said, I'm sorry to say something like this, but that's the truth. He needs to work because that's the only thing he's focused on. And I start to work on cars every day with my half school and half cars. Mechanician when I was 15, 16. At 16, I get like a better post on mechanician, but still had to go out to school, because in France, you can't start to work when you're 16. You have to start to work fully when you're 18. But I didn't want to be somebody without the knowledge of school, or it was hard for me to speak French well because I grew up in Beirut and I came here, but I had to do both. So lucky I was. I had a nice place at the Porsche for washing cars, changing tires, being mechanician. And to get that post, I was a little bit pushy with my boss by the time.
He didn't want you to have it. You had to fight for it.
I mean, he didn't make me come. I make myself go every week. And 3-4 months later, he told me, okay, come next week and we talk. And I was like, okay, this is a door. So I have to make him trust me and see I'm really know about cars. It's just not a kid come out of nowhere and just want to be at the Porsche garage and sit in a Porsche. And I mean, it was hard for me to get that job. I think it was one of the hardest things to get for my entire career. And he put me on test, and he saw I'm serious. I did not tell him my father had a garage, because my father had a garage to fixing cars in Paris too, and he lost it the year before or whatever. That's another subject. So I had to work also for that to help everyone. But I told him like, no, I love cars. But then when he says, you want time, you're taking care of everything, you want, we give it to you. Actually, when there was just give me the chance to touch a car, I was feeling paradise, because the rest of the time was clean this, clean that. And clean the tools of your boss and whatever. So I told him, look, I grew up in cars, and then he understand how I know it that well. And I guess when I get 18, I know it so much well about mechanics because of these 2 years of study and mechanics. I was able to do whatever I want in a Porsche, and I realize if I stay on mechanics, which is a nice job, but you're dirty all day. And your hands are dirty. I mean, no girls wants to touch to you, and I see all these nice people coming with like beautiful cars, being nice to everyone. I'm like, I want to be one of these nice people. I want to drive my own car. And the only way of me getting that was to selling it or work more. But
Yeah.
So I start to work for people who sell cars, and I hang around. I stopped to be a mechanician, start to try to know how to deal with nice cars. But it was hard for me to sell cars because I was young, but easy because nobody couldn't trick me.
Yeah.
People, if they tried to sell me a wrong car, I was, with the knowledge and the experience and the feeling, you know what you have. It was my pocket. I know when I see it, if it's good or wrong. So he makes my reputation in Paris really quick. Really, really quick. He's young, but he knows.
When did you first start selling cars?
21.
21. Wow, that
20,
is young. Yeah.
Something like this. I sold my first car when I was younger because I was trying to prove myself I can sell a car. And I sold a car of one of my father customer. By the time it was an old Peugeot. But I did not enjoy it because I was young and I just want to prove something for myself. Selling cars is my main business, but it's something affect me sometimes because sometimes I have very nice pieces in my hand and I don't want to sell it, but I have to because I can't keep everything. Of course, there is piece which I'm never going to sell, like my Golf GTI. But some crazy pieces, you're like, damn, I'm not going to see that car again. But it's the life is like this. So I started at 20, and it was also a real job and real experience to have to get, because selling cars is not just buying and selling it. You have to know what you buy, don't get a trick and everything. Like every job in the world, everything is not that easy. And my passion was around cars, but at the same time, like everybody, when I was young, I was listening to the Wu-Tang, looking to Michael Jordan, rewind my cassettes to look how he make that dunk, how Larry Bird put his 3 shots that fast and quick. So I was dreaming to have the best Nike, dreaming to be a rapper, dreaming to be the best DJ, dreaming of everybody like around this table and every fan of Hatbeast.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
So obviously I was going to work, and every pay I had was going on Nikes, Jordans, and
It sounds very familiar.
I mean, so my coworkers was looking at me like somebody from out of nowhere, because everybody was hiding money, but Arthur was eating bread for lunch and having the best Nikes. My mom was hating me too. Like box everywhere, but it's like, okay, what else we can do? I'm like, nothing. I want to buy that Nike.
What was your favorite pair like growing up? You have any memorable sneakers that you like the most?
Jordan 6.
Yeah, Jordan 6.
Oh, yeah,
nice.
Jordan 6 every day. Nike in the back.
Is there a special reason for that shoe, or was it just because of the design?
No, the special reason I was too young to know about the first Jordan. Of course, I know it, but it didn't touch me.
Yeah.
I like related shoes to cars because it's kind of the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when I see Jordan making dunks, playing crazy with the Jordan 4, the 5.
Yeah.
But that dunk with the Jordan 6 and the shape of him and the shoes makes me want to look like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I didn't have that shoes by the time because my father couldn't afford it. It was expensive for the time. But when I was seeing people wearing it, I was seeing Michael Jordan, you know?
Yeah.
And the first year I could buy it, I bought it when they're done the re-edition. I forgot the year exactly. But I was old enough and having a little bit money enough to go and buy it. And that day, it makes me feel like, okay, I got that dunk, you know?
Yeah.
I was living in Paris, outside of Paris, on the suburb, but Paris. For us, the Jordan, again, Wu-Tang, or all these rappers, Jay-Z and all this, it was like from another planet.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't fly, you didn't have Instagram, you didn't have anything, or YouTube to see the video of them, that you had to rewind the cassette, you had to go to MTV, try to catch a good time to see a video of them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you had a Jordan in your hands, you're like, okay, this is America, you know? This is Jordan. This is you feel you own something. It was a different time. which I'm really happy to had it in my life.
Yeah.
So Jordan 6 is my favorite.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting topic because, you know, like a lot of the kids today or a lot of, you know, the followers of this culture, streetwear culture, or just like, you know, street culture in general, like they have the internet to put them up on game. But it's like for you had to like, you know, you had to watch MTV or you had to like, you know, just really develop that taste level to be like, all right, I want this because I like how it looks.
Yes.
Yeah. Talk about that just to like explain that to like, you know, a lot of our younger listeners.
I mean, from everything I want to learn in my life and everything I learn, it's like reading a book.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just buy what your neighbor have because you want to look like him. I mean, some people don't have character and they live like this, but and I believe we was, and I still believe a lot of kids is, and I wish that to everyone, want to look like how they really want to look like by what they learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned play basketball in the street, and I learned by my friends with who I was playing basketball, who was Michael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
who was Scottie Pippen, who was Dennis Rodman.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go, you look, and you're like, okay, these shoes is not only shoes, he's a dunk, he's winning the world game, he's the best player of the year, he's Larry Bird shoot better than me, but I'm going to win anyway.
Yeah.
So it's all this, and you want to have that shoes because that means all these things to you.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, you're going to believe you're going to fly with it.
Yeah.
So it's the same for art. It's the same for clothes. As much I give respect to all these real designers doing a hard job to just make us happy to own one of the crew neck or one of that pants or one of that socks, because it's a real job in the back. Everything for me is a kind of piece of art without being a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
But today, everybody wants to buy and just to look like this the Monday, and the Tuesday they want to look different because it's the vibe of today. We live in 2017. So that's the main reason of me being happy growing up during the 90s and the 80s, because we had that time,
Yeah.
which we had time to learn and understand where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything is happening today, it's because of that.
Yeah.
It's because of all these things happened before.
Right.
That's why we're listening all these good rappers. That's why we wearing hoodie. You know, hoodie. You was wearing hoodie. You were looking like a gangster. Now you can go in a meeting with hoodie.
You can. But else got a hoodie on.
Yeah.
Sure. Definitely. So yeah, I mean, would you credit like, you know, that early development of like, you know, your taste for things to cars, like your love for cars?
Yeah, that's what I learned about cars. Because every single car is designed by a team of designers and team of people working to make that car be on a good shape, not just for sell it, but be beautiful for the eyes, be beautiful for the next customer, be beautiful, and they kind of pieces which they're not going to produce anymore. One time it's produced, it's sold, and it's finished.
Mm-hmm.
There is a new one coming. But behind it is a real job. Real job to us sitting well, real job to touch the radio quicker, and everything is single design. So all these old cars, and even the cars are producing today, the kind of piece of art made by the humans, which they spend time to make it. Whatever the brand, whatever the value, they're still a piece of art. Some people like some shape round, some people like square shape. So that's what I learned about designers, and that's how I learned about designers, because obviously most of your beautiful cars in the car industry are designed by the real designers of cars, like Zagato, Pininfarina, and some other, a lot of other designers, which I don't want to say all the name because we're not going to finish talking after that. And that's why also the vintage cars takes that much of value, because they will not be possible to produce that anymore. For so many, very lot of reasons, more than designs and more than years, it's also for security reasons, because they can pass the security crashes now, and they're kind of dangerous if they hit somebody in the street. All these old long Cadillacs, you see the bumpers, how the big chrome bumpers, if they touch you, you can die, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why every car has, for me, has a story and is a piece of art. And that's how my eyes and my knowledge get it used to it. because I grew up inside of this. And I always bring that to clothes, because for me it's kind of the same. It's without putting four wheels, but a clothes studio work hard to make something good to sell. So, and I spend all this time in my life in Paris doing the fashion world, buying the best cool thing I can, going to the nicest show, try to see the most beautiful pieces before everyone, and having nice designer friends let me come around and know what they're doing and learn what they're doing without working, just because of me watching, curiosity. And after all these years of all this time I spent on Hypebeast, all this time I spent in books, all this time I spent checking style.com, because before it was style.com, all these Vogue books, all these fashion, art, contemporary, I learned so many stuff. I had it's time for me to try to bring this car world with all my knowledge of, I'm not old, but I have old knowledge enough to make nice clothes, because I know what is nice. I don't say, I know for my taste what is nice, not for everybody, but for my taste enough what I can like and what I don't like, and bring the car culture in between the fashion world and the car culture, because there is nothing cool we want to wear with cars except some vintage t-shirt. Nobody wants to have a big Ferrari logo t-shirt, riding Ferrari. It's cool to wear once,
yeah,
or whatever brand. I love Ferrari, it's my favorite brand, but it's just the clothes doesn't match with the quality of all these cars.
Right.
So I don't say of myself I'm a designer or I'm the next car rule breaker. No. The only thing I know is when I was younger in the car industry, which is a very difficult industry to make your IDs understand it, because it's really about only cars. I'm gonna bring something which maybe not gonna talk to everybody, but it talks to me. It's my knowledge, it's my culture, and I hope people gonna get it on the way I'm trying to explain myself. Is not having the best car make you cool, but having the culture of car makes you who you are and cooler. So that's the main reason why I bring the Golf GTI on the main logo of the brand. Not because it was the car I grew up inside when I was younger and I was always saying golf, 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 but was the people car, and it was a cool car. Whatever the money you have or you don't have, if you have that taste to have that car, you was cool, because it was the nicest shape, the nicest look, the nicest everything, and they made the GTI looks like more sport. So I grew up looking at that car like the goal of my life.
So so let's recap, because for the people that are listening, your brand isn't just a clothing brand. It's actually your shop.
It's actually my shop, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you so washing cars at 16, started selling cars at 21. When did you started selling cars for yourself?
So between 21 and 30 years old, I was working with I had a boss. And of course I was trying to explain him my bosses. I had few bosses. They were smart people, I believe. They see somebody wants to work hard, so they try to use the most possible they can use on me. That's life. It's okay. It learns me to get more stronger in the life. But I was trying to make them believe on me more than my trust and more than my knowledge on how car can go really far. Not only driving 6,000 miles, but far in life. And obviously they didn't believe that about it, but it's okay. And then when you have one boss telling you you a joke, another one doesn't listen to you when you say something like your IDs, and another one which you can see is never gonna follow your IDs, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it by my own. It is what it is. So I start to sell my own cars with partnership with my bosses between my 24 and my 28 years old. And when I get 29, 30, I wake up one morning and I'm like, I need my own company. There is no other way of me having my own company. Sorry, it was not 2030. Let's cut at that. When I was 2012, I'm 34. Just after 2011. So between 2005, 6, and 2010, I was trying to have my own company, but it didn't work. My ex-bosses didn't want to be partner with me.
Okay.
2010, 11, I wake up and saying to myself, I need to have my own company. One morning, I'm like, okay, my own company with my own ideas and my own selection of cars. And I made Louder Automobile. I call Louder Automobile because Louder Automobile is a sentence. It's like saying a beautiful flower. It's art of the automobile, but you can own beautiful flower. It was a name, in French we say a name game, jouer avec les mots, which l'art, L-A-R-T from Arthur, of the automobile. But it's an art too because of the explication I give about the art of the automobile and the way I'm bringing the automobile as an art without creating an automobile, because I did not have that power. So I create Louder Automobile, and then all the image around how I see everything is not only the best Ferrari or the Lambo, it's also the coolest vintage Volkswagen or BMW or Citroën or old Porsches, because some of all these cars, old cars, 5-6 years ago the value was nothing, really nothing. The fixing cost a lot, but the value was nothing. Now it's different. So all these cars I try to play around. Some people that didn't get it by the time.
We understand, like, just how much you care for your brand. We want that to translate too for our listeners. I think it's very important that they begin to understand the difference between streetwear brands that just like slap things on shirts and then ones that actually have stories behind it.
I appreciate, because it's more and more rare of people respected the proceeding of making something.
Yeah.
It's crazy because sometimes I speak to people and not about my brand. In general, I try to make them understand how it's hard to do something good. They don't care. They just want it.
Yeah, they're not excited about the process, what goes into it.
They don't have the respect of somebody. Say, there is so many things I don't like made by somebody, but the way he makes it makes me like it. Makes me like, there is no way of me doesn't have that. His hand movement and his brand, no one else can have it. So if you got it, you got it. The people forgot that respect of creativity. And it's because of this train of fast Instagram pictures, quick eating, thank you, bye. That's the new life. So
people just want the immediate, because it's very fast. They just want to get what they see, and then that's it.
But I do believe some people go back to that. I do believe now it's gonna be the new trend too. To be, yes, I know, and it's something different for the experience and for how they made it and everything, and that's gonna become the new trend, because the way it's going now, you can feel it. It starts to be boring, all these easy stuffs.
It's fun. It's funny that you say that, because I feel like, it has naturally been progressing towards that point. Like people have been. It's odd to see this many people interested in streetwear. I remember when there was a time where it was like, in order to know what streetwear was, you either had to go to a store that was like one of two in your neighborhood, like in your entire city, buy a shirt by the hundreds, or Stussy, and it's like then you are a part of a society, But it's like
or
now
look
it's like
real
you can
deep in the forums and try to find some
even know what a forum was.
Yeah.
There's so many people that work for us that grew up in the online forums, which was a message board essentially for people that only cared about a certain thing.
Yeah.
And that's it's very niche.
Yeah.
But it's like now it's like it's easy as going to blah blah blah.com and being like, okay, I know what streetwear is. I'm part of streetwear.
Or Instagram, just scrolling.
Or Instagram and then seeing it. So it's like yeah, I feel like the next natural step, of course, is just for people to be like, all right, now I need to understand why. Like, what is this? I'm wearing this brand. I'm wearing this hat. I'm wearing these Visbum shoes. Like, who even made it? It makes it that much easier for you to like just educate them to be like, you wear this brand all the time, but did you know that this person actually started here? That this brand actually means this.
It's more about them. They don't care who they made it. They care. Most of them care of who's wearing it, and I'm gonna wear the same. Then you don't have a personality. Of course, we all want to look like. Some people are like, I want to look like him because obviously they have the best style ever, and they're here with a new style which nobody can follow. But you want to look like them. But when you're based on only that, it is where it is.
And I think people will start. I mean, even like say for your brand and your shirts, like that's kind of also why we want to talk about it, because I think that it's even more interesting. Like, you know, you telling me about it a bit more today makes me want your shirt more because of the story and behind it. You know, the fact that you have knowledge in the cars and the cars have a meaning to you and what those mean. It's interesting, you know, and then that's the reason why, you know, knowing the stories behind people's brands and also any kind of establishment, really, you know, something that they create, you know, having their stories behind it makes it 100 times more desirable, you know, as opposed to just kind of trying to buy something that someone's worn and you see it, you know, now.
Kevin being more interested in your brand now that he knows the story behind it. You know, revisiting that car for your logo, you mentioned that it was the people's car, and that's what made you so strongly connected to it. Was that the first car that you have ever owned?
No, it was the car I grew up, my father had when I grew up in Beirut, and also in France when we came here, had one of the Golf. But he makes me want to be the logo of the brand, because that's the face of a brand, is the culture. And the brand can be owned by everybody. Not, I try to reach. Then we're going to talk about the price, which is something different too. But at first, it's a culture brand. It's not a hype brand. I don't wish people buy it just to be hype and to have the t-shirt of that car because it was the hype t-shirt to have. All the pieces are limited, and that car is the main logo of the brand because that's the only car it talks to me. And the only car makes me feel like everybody and having style at the same time without buying a whatever brand of a car, the most expensive possible, and put it on the Instagram to show to your friends you're richer than them. No. I mean, my brand is based on experience, culture, and quality. And knowledge on all this world on just on one piece. So I decided to limit every pieces we made it for 200 for now. Nothing is more produced than 200, and we don't reproduce the design anymore. Once it's done, it's done. And we have so much content, so it's based on all this quality and all this design. My designer drew. My other team work on the computer to make it happen in one piece of clothes or accessories we're doing with all the ideas I have all day. We share, we talk around table non-stop before we decide to drop that piece or before we decide to produce that piece. And it's more than just one blank t-shirt I buy and I'm printing or no. We made our own shape of t-shirt, of crew neck, of hoodie, of pants, skirt gonna come, and all the rest of pieces we're producing in the months or year coming. So all these things cost something. All these things has also a time to produce, and at the same time, I'm sending my knowledge of my car culture one more time, but they're kind of piece of art. They're related of these art cars which they're not producing anymore again. So that's why the price, some people doesn't consider the price high, some people consider the price high, but when I compare some other brand which you buy on less quality and you can sell for 4 times the price on eBay, I do believe my work deserves the price. I just fix it.
Yeah, and you take so much time for the. I mean, you were telling me you take a long time.
You see it.
Yeah.
I'll show you on the
Yeah,
sticker.
those
the process.
the cars are not photos. You know, somebody actually drew those, man. And he showed me some of the, man, it was just.
All the cars. So I have a designer in working with me. So that guy is just here. It's a genius, but he's just here to make the design of what I have in my brand, or the cars I have, on the cars on it, on how I see it happening in design, hand design. So I send him the picture, and he sent me every step of the design. And he don't know that well about cars. He's just an artist, and I make him do the exact line on the exact place, because I know about the car. I know how it has to look. I know how the side has to look. I know how the centimeter of the wheels has to be, and all these things. So I help him with it. But it's a long process, because to make one car finish it well, we have to go back and forth I don't know how many times and change the colors, because sometimes the colors are wrong. And I showed that to Kevin today to make him realize it's just not a picture we take on the internet and we're printing again in a t-shirt. We actually take the picture of our car, which we send to our designer, and we ask him to just design the car. And then we take that picture of the car he designed. I mean, not a picture, but that design. And we start to work around it. We start to make something on our vision about it. Like you see it, and one of the designs gonna come this winter, before the winter. It's based off the crash test centers. Every cars, before the cars be alive and be ready to be sold, has to pass by the crash test center. And the crash test center, if they admit the car, now the car is ready to sell, because people get crashed in the car but they don't die, and the airbag comes out on a good time and all these things. So we decide to crash a Lamborghini Diablo on a t-shirt, because it's one of the most expensive car. And the name is really strong, and the shape of the car is really strong, but it looks more cool when it's crashed. And for me, the Diablo looks cooler when it's crashed. It's cool when the doors are open, and it's also cool when the car is crashed.
It looks really cool, man.
So it's a pack of t-shirt. There is 2 t-shirts. One before the crash on how the car looked like and what's the step and the explication, and another one it's after the crash. The car is completely crashed, and what's the result of the crash. It's a crash test on a t-shirt.
And you had some of the information of the after the cars crashed, what tests it passed and all that kind of stuff on it. That was really cool.
If the driver passed, if the airbag passed, if the wheel passed, a real crash test. So with this brand, I'm going little bit by little bit. I don't bring everything at the same time. I'm just bringing every specific angle of the automobile. It can be a beautiful car, ugly car. Depends for who is ugly. One more time is about test. Red car, white car, no car, gas station. In car hospital, which, you know, when all these cars are broken, ready to die, I call that a car hospital. Ambulance, police car, gangster car, girl's car, everybody's car, and my grandma car.
You have another interesting graphic with a great story behind it too. I wanted to hear more about that, but the G-Wagon on cinder blocks. Yeah. So how did that graphic come about?
So that graphic is a long story. It's when I was growing up in the suburb of Paris. My father, half of the night, he wasn't sleeping because he was scaring of somebody stole his wheels on his Golf. And one morning he came out of the house and the Golf was on a brick. And my friend's father too, my friends was stealing some wheels. So it was a circle of stealing wheels between my father getting stolen and some friends I love in my school stealing wheels to get money from the.
They didn't steal.
from the
They didn't
wheels,
steal your
yeah.
father's wheels, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wish it can be fun today to say that, but no. By the time I was like, don't tell me it's you. And that happened to me also in a G-Wagon. And that happened to a lot of people actually.
Mhm.
A lot of people around the world. I saw a G-Wagon also in LA without being mine on a break. There is, if you Google it, you can see it. So I decided to make that story about my scare of wake up in the morning and not have my wheels in the t-shirt.
Because it actually happened.
Because it actually happened.
So that's your
not
car.
only one time.
Yeah.
It happened to my family and to me. So, and I think a lot of which car I'm going to put on. And I think the G-Wagon was the most interesting contrast. Because the G-Wagon is actually a luxurious, beautiful SUV with a square shape. And the square shape related to the square bricks and the cheap brick on the luxurious, crazy SUV makes everything strong. And that's how I get the idea, and that's how I made that happen, because it happens in my life. And then we had that, I decided to, that t-shirt became a collaboration with one of my favorite store in Paris, the Broken Arm. That's why the Benz logo, it's not here anymore. It's replaced by the Broken Arm logo. That t-shirt is really rare, and people, if they see it, they see it. If not, if they just buy it because of the bricks and the G-Wagon on bricks, is nice. But if you see you don't have the Benz logo, you have the Broken Arm logo, I don't know if I'm going to do that again in my life. So that's going to be really rare. And I decided to put that real G-Wagon on a brick in the front of the store. The same day we launched the t-shirts. And me and Adrian, we was doing that with my team, and we saw some people stop and say in French, "Oh, the bastard! They stole his wheels." And I was like, "No, man, it's
Check out the shirt right here.
It's an installation." I see the cops passing by. Some of my friends have a picture of the cops passing by, stopping, looking, and they're like, "Damn, we don't have time for that, but damn, what happened here?" But it's actually an installation. So that's why it's, for me, that t-shirt has a lot of sense. Not only, okay, you have a G-Wagon on the brick, but you also have a fun around it. Mm-hmm. As much as it can affect somebody, because it's not fun to get stolen at your wheels, it's also fun to wear what happened to you, because later in life, I wish you just forgive, and you go on something else. Actually, that guy who stole the wheels, he stole the wheels to get some food. So it's bad, but it's something good.
Yeah, I mean, just listening to you speak so passionately about, like, cars, and then also like how you're translating that passion into your brand. I feel like it's something that our audience can definitely identify with, because it's like, you mentioned that car, for your logo being the culture's car, and like your brand is like a representation of like that car culture. I mean, just like what are your thoughts on, like, educating, like enforcing that alongside with your brand, like, so that people are hearing these stories, like, and seeing these logos, they're seeing these graphics, and they can understand that. Like, do you find that to be difficult? Or is it something that you can easily translate, like those that understand can get it?
Some people don't understand it because they're not into cars, but they understand it when they see something happen to them related to that. Mm-hmm. I remember somebody in fashion, old-fashioned mentality people, but very, 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 very knowledge about fashion world. And she knows me for a long time. It's somebody I respect a lot. So she saw my t-shirt and she touched it and she said, "Oh, your t-shirt is very nice touching." Mm-hmm. And she saw that logo I had in the back, it was a Sunset Automobile Silver Lake garage reproduction of a logo of a garage in Silver Lake. She was like, "Oh, that's beautiful logo," but it didn't affect her. But when she saw the Golf the days later, she was like, "My mother had that car." And it affected her. She don't like cars. For her, it's not cool to have a car on your clothes. She's really fashion. She's really thinking behind every single design has to be real work. She's not wearing t-shirts. But she asked me that t-shirt because it affected her it touched her somewhere. It reminded her something of her family. And I hope she's gonna wear it, but it makes me happy because at first she didn't get it, except the quality, but then she got it because it touched her somewhere. So the only way of me make them understand it, it's try to make you feel the same way when you see something. Mm-hmm. You dream of that car. We all had that poster. We all had that picture on the screen of our computer. We all have that logo we love of a car. We all are. So I just want every single pieces touch every different people. Some people are gonna like it, some people doesn't gonna like it. It's okay, but it has to be related of you. It's a culture, one more time, and it's also a real reality happening situation. It can be easy for everybody. A lot of people done it before me, and a lot of people gonna do after me, to print the most beautiful car with the most beautiful color in the most beautiful hoodie. But it's that has a sense for you, yeah, go and buy it. I probably can buy it too because you're gonna be beautiful. But something happened to you, it's something stay for you in you for life. And that's why I'm gonna try to understand all these people wants to be interested about the brand around.
Did you ever second guess, like, jumping in and starting, like, including fashion to go along with, like, your brand, with, like, your shop? Because I feel like right now is like there's a lot of streetwear brands that are starting up. It's easy to start a streetwear brand these days, and then with that being said, it not only is it easy to start one, but it's easy for something to get hyped too quickly. Was that just knowing those things, was that ever, like, a concern or a fear for you, like, all right, we're gonna go into fashion, we're gonna start making fashion clothes?
I mean, it's not a fair for me because, one more time, I'm not here to sell the most quantity of t-shirts of whatever accessories or clothes on my brand. It's a passion I'm making every day, and I want to relate it to the people who loves that. But of course I want my brand work. Of course I want my brand beware. Of course I want to people got it and of course every time I see somebody I don't know wearing it around the world, I'm happy to see that, and I'm thankful, and I'm proud of him and of me, and every people working on in my studio. But one more time, streetwear became the new world of the fashion. Like I was saying before, now it's cool to wear a hoodie. For us, it was always cool to wear a hoodie, but for some people, it's the new vibe. I seen some people was wearing Hermés all their life, and now they don't want to wear Hermés anymore. They just want to have a Supreme logo box hoodie, and they're ready to pay more than expensive as a Hermès bag. That's what it is. That's why Supreme is good too. So streetwear gonna have a lot of level, and it's already that. It's already level like luxurious brand. I don't gonna say names, but you have the biggest luxurious brand, and you have lower quality and the first entrance of a luxurious brand, and then you have wannabe luxurious brand. Yeah. So it's the same of street brand. You have the real street brand, the real culture, who learns you to be who we all are today. And then you have the new trend and the cool trend and the wannabe and trying to be in copy and all these things. It's just street. It's the name, means everything. It's the life. It's more powerful than luxurious. Without luxurious is no streets. Without street is no luxurious. We need the streets to make the luxurious looks good. So street brand for me, it's not the future. It was the past, it's now, and is the future. It's everything.
And where do you want, kind of in your mind, your brand to be kind of sitting, and then how do you want it to grow,
It's just a new brand. It's 1 year of work, more than 1 year of work, but it's 6 months now of existence for real. I don't want to position myself on something or say I'm better than whatever, which I'm not here to say that, but I do want in life my brand be one of the most cultural brand who brings something interesting to people and not be only hype. Not be I sell 1,000 hoodie this month and 600 t-shirts yesterday and I see it on everywhere. I don't want to be that. I just want, you know what you got when you go in. You know why you're buying that. It's just, one more time, it's a piece we made to you feel well about it. To you feel happy to have it and not only have it to have it.
But do you think it's going to be kind of difficult to make sure your brand grows in the right way and at the right pace that you want with when you have friends like, say, Virgil, you know, who's going to wear it and whatnot, you know, do you think it's going to be difficult in that way?
It's hard to think like this for me because Virgil is one of my best friends, and it's one of my best friends because he's somebody true and honest. He told me when he liked something and when he doesn't like. He told me when we go on dinner and he says the food is bad or the food is good. So that's the same for a t-shirt, the same for shoes, the same for everything. That's the definition of friends, honestly. So if Virgil told me he likes it and he makes me happy of him having some pieces and getting some pieces because he likes it. So I'm not happy to see a famous friend or the most best designer in the world wearing my pieces, but I'm happy when a tasteful friend, an honest friend told me I like it. As much as I'm happy of that same friend with the same taste and same honesty tell me I don't like it. That's what I like about it. He makes me want to do better and bigger and make it him love it for some reason later. So of course, if now the life now, it's what the most beautiful people in the world wearing it. We all want to look like. So of course it's helpful when you have somebody nice and somebody famous wearing your tee. But this is not my goal. My goal is that famous guy as much as that kid in the street for me are the same. Because they have to have the same feeling which I want them to have. That's how I see it.
And you know, you have a lot of references also to like LA, you know, like Silver Lake and Venice and stuff.
Yes.
What's your connection with LA, being all the way here in Paris?
So that's what I like about LA. I like LA when I'm in Paris, and I like Paris when I'm in LA. LA, it's a car culture life. You have to drive your car to go drink a water. Here I go in a bistro next door with my Nike to have a coffee. There you can't. If you want the best coffee, you have to go drive. So that's the life of LA, which is I like about it because you drive your car for real. You
also sit in traffic.
Yeah, depends the hours, but it depends where you go. But you have to drive. It's nice. You drive it, and you have the sun, and if you look the streets in LA. There is so many nice old cars, new cars sleeping in the corner in Venice Beach, in Silver Lake, in Long Beach, in Malibu, everywhere. You have like cars goes with the city you go because of the surfing, because of the skating, because of the cars stay there getting tanned by the sun for 40 years. The lights are yellow, the paint turn a crazy color which you can never meet in your life. And then you have all these garage straight next to you in the street with crazy cool logos, tires everywhere, and beautiful cars getting fixed. Nobody look at you at the red light if you have a beautiful car, cool car. Everybody is living their life and they're facing the steering wheels and going straight. So all these things about LA makes me like LA. I mean the car world in LA. I like LA for so many reasons, but about the cars as one of the main reasons. A lot of people have the car culture. A lot of people go every Friday to wash their car because they want to have a clean car. A lot of people hustle themselves to get the next new car. A lot of people have a style wearing a clothes, rock and roll. I see somebody wearing a rock and roll full style clothes, and he came with an old Lincoln rock and roll look with the seats on leopard. Leopard. I was like, this guy, it's my mentor. I don't know what to say. I'm like, I don't know you, but I like you. I mean,
it's like such a big part of your it's almost like fashion. It's part of your look, you
yeah,
know? Yeah.
It's the shoes match with the car there, you know. It's cool. So you don't have that in Paris. You don't have that in Europe. You have some big city in Europe between Germany and UK and south of France and Italy, even Paris, which you have people with style having nice cars, but they're more low key.
Yeah.
There, everybody, it's a culture. Nobody look at you when you come with whatever car. It's just you and your style. That's what I like about it. And that's why a lot of references came from. I have many references for around the world, but for now, it came from LA because Paris and LA, it's my life. It's Beirut too, but I grew up and I spent so many times between Paris and LA. So I'm bringing what I know first, the most. Then my experience is going to bring one more year in my life, one more year of experience. So that year I'm going to use it again for my experience, and that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like all the stuff that you're coming out with for your clothes, you have real knowledge in every little thing, you know, and you actually have a personality to it. Do you think it's going to be, as you keep making more stuff, you know, are you just going to continue telling, you know, the stories from your past, or are you going to pull from other things as well?
Yes. I'm trying to mix between my knowledge and my stories and the real car world, like the crash test. I never had a crash test in my life, but I was always looking on YouTube the crash test of the cars just to see how the car gonna react. So in my future, I gonna still bring in on some ideas like this to people know more about it and be more curious about it and more interesting even for myself. You know, I'm happy to wear that. Mm-hmm. The most important thing when I'm doing something, I don't like it because it's made by us and because we had the idea, or one of my coworker in my team had the idea and I'm happy for him. No, it's because I see something I grew up with, or I spent time to look at it, being alive on one piece of clothes. That's why it makes me happy too. So that's how I'm gonna keep going for the future.
Where do you see, you know, like the journey ending? When, you know, you're only a year in, you know, with your brand right now, but where do you see like the end, the finish line being, so to speak?
The finish line of this for the brand? I see no finish line, not for my brand, and I hope for no other brands gonna play with cars too, because cars it's part of the humanity now. I'm not gonna be alive in 100 years, but I don't know what's gonna be, how it's gonna be, and if we're gonna still have cars or we all gonna fly with a drone or something, but whatever what's going to be in 100 years, cars is cars. As much we have all these art monument in Europe and around the world, and all this story between China to Europe to America, it's part of the life. So the cars, it's the same. I don't see the end of that. It's always something to say about it, always something related to somebody about it, always. Because as a boy, we all dream to have something with 4 wheels. We all want it. We all went to the school with 4 wheels, or get to somewhere with the 4 wheels. Even if you like or you don't like cars, the 4 wheels, it's in your life. You go in school with the bus. You take the taxi for the airport. It's part of the life. I don't see end. I wish there is no end.
So usually how, you know, we end our podcast episodes is that we end with a bit of advice for our listeners. And I think, like, you know, a lot of our listeners do aspire to live the similar lifestyle as you do. You know, they want to drive those nice cars, but they don't know how to, you know, achieve that. So what is, like, you know, some advice that you could leave for them, you know, just on how to be successful?
Believe themselves, believe on their dream, believe on what they want to do for themselves. Not try to prove to somebody else. Prove to you what you want. Mm-hmm. That's one of my best advice. That's what I done for myself. I didn't want to prove for me what I can do and where I can go, and and don't put your hands down. Just go through all your passion and try to learn more about it and get to know what you want to do, and then do it. That's the best advice I can give. But today is hard because it's easy to go up and go down that quick too, because some people get lost, or because it's Andy Warhol says, I see that a few times, in the future everybody's going to be famous. You have to take a decision. You want to be famous, or you want to do something for you? If you want to do something for you, do it for you. If you want to just be famous to be famous, it's you and your good luck. So if I do it, everybody can do it. I'm not better than everyone. I just wanted to do it. That means everybody can do it. I'm not born in a Ferrari, you know, or in a Porsche. I'm born in a hospital like everyone. And I put a goal, and no matter everybody was trying to say around me and trying to put me down, because of course a lot of people didn't believe it. I don't care. I know what I want. I know it's possible, and I know what you liked. I know it. I like that, and I want that to be alive. Maybe nobody gonna like it, but I do like it, so I'm gonna do it for me. And then if people like it and got it, I'm happy, of course. And it shows to the kids to make it happen. It helps the kids. That's how I see when I see somebody successful. I look at him and I'm like, I'm proud for him, but I'm like, that's a boost. That's why I like rappers. Rappers, they write lyrics. Pusha T write his life, and he's proud about it, and he sings proud about it. And all these rappers too, they sing proud about it, and then they get to the point of what they want, and they come from nowhere, but they are something. We all from nowhere, and we all try to do something, and wants to be our goal. You just have to believe on you and go through it. That's it. That's what I try to say to all my team, to all my kids around me, and all my friends around me. Want them to success.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and we're definitely, excited to see what else you're going to come out with. Every shirt that I've seen so far I've loved it. So
thank you.
We're excited to see it for sure, and I appreciate you coming out and speaking with us, man.
You guys are part of it because of all these from 2005 to now. All this time spending on the blog, checking the crazy new SBs, the new T-shirt, the new logo, the new whatever.
Hey, we know what we like, man.
The new Kanye, the new everything, and then you get to know where you want to go, how you want to wear, how you want to look, and what you don't want and what you want. Hypebeast is part of it. This thing is alive because of everything I mentioned. Without that, it couldn't be possible. It's not only me. It's just the street. We're back in the street. It's just the street.
We're going to keep it going, man.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it going. Cool, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you guys.
Thanks, Alvin.